Litquake is the closest thing we have to a union for writers. When here the unions are in trouble. So we're grateful for all of your work. Since I'm receiving the Barbary Coast Award, I read up on the Barbary Coast. Pretty rowdy. They had a vigilante movement that was 5,000 strong, and I would like to get them to come to my neighborhood. Of course, criminality in Oakland is nothing new. Most of our authors were criminals. Jack London was an oyster pirate and a mugger. Went around knocking people's hats off. And might have had a black mother. Mary Rudge, whom you all know was the former Port Laureate of Alameda, put that rumor out that he signed his letter to a black woman, your little white ticket. Isn't that charming? Maybe the woman was his mother. So, yeah, it was a pretty rowdy place, and I was just called Rowdy by Miss Laura Miller in Salon Magazine because of my essay about Mark Twain, which, if you want to read, is on the site or the website of Harvard University Press in a book edited by Greil Marcus and Vernon Sellers. So, it's appropriate that I read Mark Twain. I'm sick of defending Mark Twain. You know, I had his heart in the right place. I think his portraits of his contemporaries are very well-rounded, and his character Jim is probably a fuller personality and character than the characters I see in the movies, which are like lethal props. You know, that's from my essay I wrote about a movie anyway. I want to read criminality. I've got Joaquin Miller, another Oakland writer, was a stagecoach robber and a jailbreaker. And the first mayor of Oakland, Henry Carpenter, he called himself Carpenter or something, was a crook and was run out of town, so crime waves and nothing new. I want to read from a prayer, the war prayer, in which Mark Twain ridicules false patriotism. It was a time of great and exalted excitement. The country was up in arms. The war was on. In every breast burned the holy fire of patriotism. The drums were beating. The bands playing. The toy pistols popping. The bunched firecrackers hissing and spluttering on every hand, and far down the receding and fading spread of roofs and balconies, a fluttering wilderness of flags flashed in the sun. Daily, young volunteers marched down the wide avenue, gay and fine in their uniforms, the proud fathers and mothers and sisters and sweethearts, cheering them with voices choked with happy emotion as they swung by. Nightly, the packed mass meetings listened, panting to patriotic oratory, which stirred the deepest deeps of their hearts, and which they interrupted by briefest intervals with cyclones of applause, the tears running down their cheeks the while. In the churches, the pastors preached devotion to flag and country and invoked the God of battles, beseeching his aid in our good cause in outpourings of fervent eloquence, which moved every listener. It was indeed a glad and gracious time, and the half-dozen rash spirits that ventured to disapprove the war and cast doubt upon its righteousness straightway got such a stern and angry warning that for their personal safety's sake, they quickly shrank out of sight and offended no more in the way. And I'll skip. This is the prayer. Then came the long prayer. None could remember the like of it for passionate pleading and moving and beautiful language. The burden of its supplication was that an ever merciful and benignant Father of us all would watch over our noble young soldiers and aid, comfort, and encourage them in their patriotic work, bless them, shield them in the big battle, in the hour of peril, bear them in his mighty hand, make them strong and confident, invincible in the bloody onset, help them to crush the foe, grant to them, to their flag and country, imperishable honor and glory. And I'll skip again. Here's the prayer. O Lord, our Father, our young patriots, idols of our hearts, go forth to battle. Be thou near them, with them in spirit. We also go forth from the sweet peace of our beloved firesides to smite the foe. O Lord, our God, help us to tear their soldiers to bloody shreds with our shells. Help us to cover their smiling fields with the pale uniforms of the patriot dead. Help us to drown the thunder of the guns with the shrieks of their wounded, writhing in pain. Help us to lay waste their humble homes with a hurricane of fire. Help us to wring the hearts of their unoffending widows and with unavailing grief. Help us to turn them out roofless with little children to wander unfriended the wastes of their dead, desolate land in rags and hunger and thirst, sports of sun flames of summer and the icy winds of winter, broken in spirit, warm with travail, imploring thee for the refuge of the grave, and denied it for our sakes who adore thee, Lord. Blast their hopes, blight their lives, protract their bitter pilgrimage, make heavy their steps, water their way with tears, stain the white snow with blood of their wounded feet. We ask it in spirit of love of Him who is the source of love and who is ever faithful, refuge and friend of all that are sore, beset, and seek His aid with humble and contrite hearts. Amen.